Hey guys, it's Paradise, and are we the only ones that didn't realize how soon the awesome new Zelda game is actually coming out? It releases in September, and even though it looks great, we didn't know that much about it, so we went digging to find out exactly what this game has in store for us. So here's everything we found out, and let us know if you're excited for it down below. This is literally a new Zelda game, and this time around it's called The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Nintendo have always been great at creating supplementary 2D titles alongside the bigger 3D ones as gaming has matured and Zelda has become more of a 3D title. So this is upkeeping with that trend after Link's Awakening, but this time Zelda is at the helm, which of course is super exciting for fans of the series as this will be the first time this has happened. If you're sleeping on the 2D side of things, then you really shouldn't, and I'm sure people in the comments can vouch for some of these games, as many of them are highly regarded within Zelda, with games like Minish Cap, Link's Awakening, and Link Between Worlds. The game features an art style similar to the 2019 remake of Link's Awakening and builds on the aesthetic of A Link Between Worlds. It's going to be releasing for Nintendo Switch very soon on September 26th, so we don't have to wait too long for it. This one is looking great, but because it's changing the formula, it's good to get an idea of the game before you actually play it, so here's what Nintendo themselves have had to say about it to give us a better idea of their vision for this game, the story, and the gameplay. This time it's up to Zelda and her wisdom to save the kingdom of Hyrule in a brand new story in the Legend of Zelda series. The people of Hyrule are being stolen away by strange rifts that have appeared, with a certain swordsman among the missing. So we'll team up with the mysterious fairy Tri and use the power of the Tri Rod to create echoes, which are imitations of things found in the environment. You can then recreate echoes whenever you like to solve puzzles and defeat enemies. You can use echoes of water blocks to reach new heights, make bridges out of old beds, throw rocks at foes, or find your own creative combination of echoes to do things your way. You can even create echoes of monsters to fight at your side in combat, so we can join Zelda in her quest to rescue Hyrule. There's quite a lot to break down in this game as it really is breaking away from the usual formula for 2D Zelda games, but it's not only introducing Zelda as the new main character, but also a whole mechanic that makes the game far more sandbox driven, as we'll be able to summon objects. Now of course the elephant in the room is definitely where is Link? Well, the trailer shows that after defeating Ganon, Link was one of the people of Hyrule that was stolen away by a rift, as the weapon dropped by Ganon seems to be one of the sources of the rift, which expands and engulfs him, but just before he gets sucked in, he's able to shoot an arrow that's able to break the crystal that Zelda is in, setting up the backdrop for this game. Interestingly, we may not be exclusively playing Zelda, as if we look at the Nintendo Life article, it points out that there have been submissions to the rating board ESRB that hints that Link could also be playable, as the entry says. As Link, players use a sword and arrows to defeat enemies. Zelda can use a magic wand to summon creatures, e.g. wind-up knights, pig soldiers, slimes, and more for battle. So this could just be a very limited part at the start of the game, but we're gonna have to wait and see for when the full game releases as to what the extent of this is. But one of the biggest things to dive into is the new echoes. This is a brand new mechanic in the game that completely changes the way you play, especially compared to the more traditional Link style of combat. We know that when Zelda is somehow imprisoned, she's able to summon a creature called Tri using her Triforce of Wisdom. Tri gives her a staff that can then be used to summon objects into the game's world that can be used for combat, traversal, or puzzle solving, making you really want to think outside of the box. So you may be wondering, how does this work? There's going to be various objects out in the world that you can interact with and then learn. This will add this object to your pool of things that you can summon at any time to create interesting ways of progressing through the game. So you'll be able to summon things like crates or plant pots to block wind so you can pass through a dangerous puzzle easily, or put down a bunch of beds to create a makeshift ladder to climb up walls. We've even seen examples of Zelda learning how to summon a water block and then using that to navigate to higher up. But it isn't just going to be limited to navigation and puzzle solving, as you'll be able to defeat enemies which you can then learn and summon them later on. There seems to be a range of enemies that can be summoned in this way, but a common example that we saw in the trailer was the moblins that were summoned for a short time and were able to fight enemies for Zelda. But this begs the question, can you just summon things infinitely? And the answer is no, there are some restrictions, such as the amount of objects that can be summoned at a single time. You can see how many objects you can summon in total by the little Triforce triangles that are following Tri. It seems like you start the game with 3 of these triangles, but we do see Tri with more than 3 in the showcase, so we're probably able to upgrade this as you go through the game. Alongside that, we can see certain items will cost more to summon, and this is indicated by the triangle above them in the menu. But a really cool thing is that the triangles float away from Tri into the object that's being created in order to summon it. This idea is pretty awesome, and it feels like Nintendo is trying to bring that sandbox feel from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom into this new game, as in the trailer we got to see many examples of Zelda breaking out of the usual 2D gameplay mold. Here's a few examples. She was able to summon a fish to stop another one from attacking her, and you can create a tower out of beds to break into towns, and there even seems to be the ability to summon enemies that you can ride on and attack with if you're smart about it. Another big aspect of the game will actually be the rifts themselves, as they aren't only a story mechanic, but also seem to be a focus in gameplay. In the trailer, we got to see various examples of different parts of the world that have been impacted by these rifts, and they're shown as visually stunning purple holes that are just in the world. The interesting thing about this is that these seem to have 2 different effects on the game. The first is the part of the world that the rift actually touches and is pulled into it, and the second part is that the rift is part of a broader dark world that we'll be able to traverse to and is made out of blocks and objects that have been pulled into it. All in all, the game is looking very cool and, to be honest, quite wholesome. We love the art style that Nintendo have been using for their recent Zelda games, and these new sandbox mechanics are really spicing up the game as a whole. The devs have also said that there are so many echoes they haven't even needed to count all of them yet. And when you look back at the crazy building system they cooked up for Tears of the Kingdom, we're very excited to see how this one will play out. The game is releasing very soon, so we just wanted to run through some of the cool things that we found out about it, and you can let us know if you're thinking about giving this new Zelda game a go, as it is quite different. So drop a like and comment to let us know if you enjoyed this recap, and subscribe for more videos on your favorite games coming very soon.